All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Power Hour, a series in which we explore the power of her. Our mission with the Power Hour, it's simple. It is to help you uncover your superpower. And it's important to know, I really think it's important to note that the key word that we are honing and focused on when it comes to our mission statement here with the Power Hour is the word uncover. And the reason being is because you, my friend, my power women on this call, you already have your power. You know, that's what we believe. We believe you already have your power. And our goal with this series is very simple. It's to help you uncover that power, dust off that power, and step into that God-given power. And here's the deal, ladies. You don't have to take my word for it. After all, it's just me, but you can take the famous billionaire Beyonce's word for it, as she so famously says in her song, Who Runs the World, Girls, about women smart enough to make the millions, strong enough to bear the children, and then get back to business. And I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, after all, who else, like, think about it, right? Who else can make a human? Think about it, right? Not even Elon Musk has that on us, at least not yet, not for the time being. And so with that said, we're so excited that you're here, that you're on with us. And, when we think of business, when we think of business women, I can't help but think of this individual. And there's so many examples, great examples here at Win-Jeunesse, which is great because we have just so many opportunities to speak to so many great women. But we think of today we have a keynote specifically that actually inspired the creation of this entire series. She and I were talking some months ago, and she was in the car with her daughters, and she said, you know what, Betty, I think it's time. I think it's time that we kick off something specifically for women, because at the end of the day, it's a little different. Okay, let's just be honest. Let's be real. And that's the intent behind this series. It's for us to be real as women, to help each other, to tell each other about experiences and what we've learned. And she said, it's time to kick this off. And I said, you know what? You're right. You are so right. It's time for us to really rally each other and empower each other. And so she was a major inspiration behind this series. And so I'm excited to have her on today. And that is the one and only, of course, our keynote speaker today, Miss Yvonne Yen. But before I bring her on, and you see her beautiful face, I just want to share with you a little bit about her bio. Okay. I want to tell you, we're going to talk first about all the things that we ooh and ah, like, wow, you're so amazing. I can't believe you've done all that. But here's the deal, guys. Okay. And this is why I'm so excited. Today, we are going to look behind all those things that we ooh and ah. We're going to talk about how does she become the person that she is. We're going to peel back those onions. We're going to get vulnerable. We're going to get real. We're going to get personal. But first, let's talk about those things that we ooh and ah. And here's the deal. I kind of have to read her bio because she's got so many accolades under her belt. And, you're kind of a big deal when you've got a bio that somebody has to read, where they can't just say it in one sentence. So with that said, a lot of us know this. And for those of you that don't know, now you'll know. Miss Yvonne Yen, before Win-Jeunesse, she was at the heart of the financial industry for over a decade. She was elected the first chairwoman of the SGV Chamber of Commerce in Los Angeles. That's a really big deal. And she graduated with an MBA from the Drucker School of Management, Claremont. And here, something that she and I, we joke about all the time. And, it's really quite an accomplishment as a first timer in this industry and the e-commerce platform. She's got a certain term for how she says that. I'll let her do that. But as a first timer in the industry, she is now one of the top leaders worldwide. I mean, I know people in different companies in the industry, and they all know her name. She's got a business today that spans in over 80 countries. And ultimately, she's helped so many people worldwide achieve their dreams and goals. And she is not only a mentor to women, but to men alike. She's a great friend of mine. She's somebody that I look up to all the time. We call on her as a soundboard. She is phenomenal. But what I love about her is just her candidness, how real she is and how simple she makes the most complicated subjects be, which is, I think that's part of her genius. It's part of her superpowers as far as I see it. So with that said, let's dig into how somebody does all of this, how somebody becomes all of this, because again, she's been this way for a long time, but there's something that she did along the way where she was able to uncover her superpowers, dust them off, take them off the shelf, and develop them. That's going to be a big part of our conversation. So with that said, will everybody please help me and give a big warm Jeunesse welcome on all the different platforms that we're on: Zoom, Jeunesse Live, Facebook, wherever we're at. A big round of applause. Help me welcome Miss Yvonne Yen. Yvonne, are you with us?
Hi, Patty. Thank you for having me.
Of course, we're going to have you. We're talking about powerful women. And like I said earlier, yes, that's right. Flex those muscles. And because you always flex your brain. So we want to see those muscles too. But, with that said, first of all, I just want to start off with saying thank you to you and Chloe. She was in the car when we talked about this, and just for being an inspiration to help kick off this series that I think is really meaningful.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I think out of all the events that we have with Jeunesse, this is the #1 on my priority, because we as a woman, we need to support women.
That's right. We do. We need to support women. There is, I was on my Peloton the other day. I'm a major Peloton rider. And I loved what Robin Arzone, she's my favorite trainer. She's got so much swag, like sometimes when you see those women and they just like, they're so cool and they have swag, and I'm like, I want to be like that. But, she said something that it's important. And I think it's it's a piece of her conversation a little bit later today, but it's basically saying how, a lot of times women, they're regarded, like people say, oh, women, sometimes they bicker with each other. And she said, there's enough room for all of us. And it's time we all rally behind each other and we lift each other up, which I know is something that we do here at Jeunesse. But again, this space of the Power Hour is meant to be real, candid, to talk about real life problems. Yes, in the business, but also at home, and really just all together in life. So I love that you said that.
Yeah, maybe we should change to PJ to make it more candid.
Oh, you know what? I love that, because everybody that knows me knows that that's my go-to uniform every day is sweatpants. I mean, it always looks like I'm in PJs. I just, for Zoom, I'll throw on something a little bit different. But yeah, absolutely. Well, let's dive right into this, Yvonne. I've got some good questions.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I hope you're ready. I promised the audience, as you heard in the beginning, we were going to get real. So are you ready to get real?
I'm ready. As real as you can be.
Okay, perfect. I just want this to be just a very organic conversation. Let's see where it goes. And I know it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. So, Yvonne, I just read a little bit about your bio. Those are all the things that, like I said earlier, we're like, wow, she was a chairwoman. She has her MBA, her business is in over 80 countries, but, let's put that aside for a second.
Let's put it aside. Those are not important. Yeah.
I love what you were saying, earlier when we were talking, you're like, I'm just Yvonne. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I clean dishes, I do laundry, I scold my kids, and, and we know that, but, I want people to see just a little bit more of that today. So give us a little bit of backstory first. Tell us, where are you from and who were you born to?
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in a beautiful island called Taiwan. I don't know if there are any people from Taiwan watching the show now. I finished my high school there and came to the USA when I was 18. Wow. Sounds like 10 years ago. It was over 30 years already. And I was born to a beautiful parents. My mom and my dad, they were actually both were teachers. So yeah, okay. It's a very small, ordinary family. Yeah.
I love that there are teachers. That actually makes, like, just knowing that, it gives me so much insight to why you are the way you are. And I didn't know that about you. And earlier I just said, you have, and I've said this to you before, you have this ability to take really big conversations and big matters and make them very simple and digestible. And that makes sense. And this is why, Yvonne, I love knowing the backstory of people, because, you know, sometimes, you know, the audience, like they'll just see Yvonne, the chairwoman, the businesswoman. But once you peel back those layers and you see where you come from, things start to just connect and add up a little bit more. So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And anybody from Taiwan, let us know in the chat. We want to know if Yvonne has any cousins out there. But awesome. So, okay, Yvonne, here is a question that, you know, I'd love for you to kind of dig into your heart, not just your mind, and tell us, right? So what, if you had to say, what is one of your superpowers? And I personally think you have many, and feel free to say a few, but if you had to dig into like those top superpowers, like the things, and what I mean by that, it's what do your friends come to you for? I love Simon Sinek, you know, the author. He says that, like what are you the best at the world at? And if you don't know, like, what do people come to you for, right? So if you had to pick some of your superpowers, what would you say they are, and how and when did you discover that?
Very good question. Actually, I was only have one when you sent me the questions, but after you asked about what do your friend usually come to you to, I've got my second one. So I'm going to share with you my first one.
Okay.
The first one, I won't say it's a superpower, but I look back, I think one of the things that I admire myself
yeah.
is I think I can juggle many tasks with a clear mind. And the reason I found out is when I was in college, you know, I went to USC. As you know, USC was not a cheap university. So I tried to save money. I think that time each semester was costing, well, go back to 1991, okay, 30 years ago. It was about $8,000 per semester, but you can take up to 18 units. Most people take 16 units. So I want to save money because I'm a number person. If you pay a fixed amount, you can take up to 16 or 18. Of course, you want to take 18 to make the unit cheaper. So that time I tried to save money. I took 18 units and I tried to condense all the classes into 2 days. Why? Because the other 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I want to work. And I remember I worked for a Jewish eyeglass company making $8 an hour cash. Well, IRS don't go after me, okay? It was 1991. I was making $8 an hour. Okay. And I still remember when I got my paycheck every week, $180, I said, wow, I'm rich. Yeah. So that was my number one, I think you call superpower. And my second superpower that now you ask me, what did my friends come to me? I still in touch with my college roommate, and she is a Korea. She's in Korea, she's a Korean. And until today, she still call me Miss Confucius because she always come to me for advice.
So you're sage, you're wise. Yeah, I would agree with
any
that.
good or bad advice, you know, not all the good advice. So for those of you who like to reach out to me, this is 1-800 numbers. I can give you therapeutic treatments.
Now you know, ladies, if you've got any type of problems, including, you know,
relationship, money, kids,
you come to Yvonne. So you are a great multitasker and you're sage. I can totally say I saw that the moment I met you. And that, by the way, that is a superpower because multitasking, I'm a terrible multitasker. I've thought at one point that I was, and then I came to discover that I just really wasn't. And that is quite the superpower. So yeah, definitely. And I would even say you're really great with just, you know, numbers. I mean, look at you making $80 an hour in 1991. I mean,
$8 an hour.
Oh, 8. I was like, geez, like, well, what were you doing? Like, that's quite the job in 1991. So awesome.
I was doing bookkeeping, earning $8 an hour.
$8 an hour. Wow. Okay, perfect. Well, you know, I love, and by the way, I think this is a really important exercise. And it's something that I think women, we struggle with sometimes, where we struggle with acknowledging, Yvonne, what we're really good at. You know, I know it's something I've struggled with, you know, in the past where, you know, it's like, even if somebody would say something to me, I'd almost like, say, oh, no, you know, and I think it's time to really stop and think and reflect about that. Like, why do we do that? You know, there's a theory that somebody wrote about at some point with women that they suffer from this imposter syndrome, where they feel like they don't really deserve whatever it is that people say about them or whatever it is that they get, you know, but that's a whole nother conversation. But the reason why I bring it up is because it's so important to be aware of what you're good at, embrace it, and really, you know, and develop it, which is my next question to you. So you discovered you're a good multitasker, you know, you're sage, you're wise. So what have you done to further, like, once you knew, okay, this is my thing, right? Like, what did you do to further develop those powers? Because I think that's an important thing to know. Not only should we be aware of our talents and skills, but we should lean into them and develop them further. And I know that's something that you do. So tell us.
Well, I would not say that I further developed that superpower. I think it just the life has taken me to. Now I look back in college days, I try to save money. So I took on more units and I work for part-time. And then after college graduations, I work in the corporate office. And of course, I want to climb the corporate ladders. So that time I went to get my MBA while I still work as a full-time. Again, that is a multitasker because it was not an easy job. You work full-time in a stressful environment, and in the evening, you still need to earn your degree. And of course, being a mother of two also helped as well. So I think for any woman, I think what we do the best is a multitasker. Every single woman, we should pack our bag. To me, this is something that men cannot do. Trust me, men cannot do. And it's the man I know in my life cannot be a multitasker. Every time my husband came home and said, wow, I was exhausted. I said, what do you do? I pick up kids, and he was exhausted. Yeah. So you want to talk about what is called multitasking? And if he was doing something, I talked to him, he said, cannot talk to me. I need to focus. So every woman out there, we just need to pack our bag. We can multitasker. We can be the multitasker, but men cannot. If you disagree, you are a man, write it. Okay. Put it in the chat room.
Put it in the chat. I love that. You know what? I just had a funny thought, or at least for me, it was funny, but you're right. I mean, like, think about like the process of bearing a child. Like, you're bearing a child, you're making a human, and you're still living your life. So right then and there, we're multitasking. So I love that. And Calvin, you know, your husband, he's
not home, so I can say this.
Yeah, so I would say, you know, hopefully he's not watching this, but if he is, you know, he's got many other talents, so it's okay. It's okay. That's awesome. So you're from Taiwan. You went to USC, you got your MBA. I kind of want to just backtrack a little bit. And so tell us about that moment when you came to the States, and, you know, what made you come to the States? How did you settle into your career in the financial industry?
Yeah, well, I have to give thanks to my parents. They are very, they value very high about education. So I have been known that I would finish my college in USA. That's one of the main reasons I came to the USA. In USC, my major was communication because I think talking, you know, easy a piece of cake. So I just picked communication. So what I did is during the college days, I did my internship with a TV station and also advertisement firms. And I learned the fact that any project is controlled by marketing department. So I realized, wow, I need to move on to the marketing. That's why my very first corporate job is in the marketing department for financial planning industries. So that's how I start my scratches in the financial service industry. And later on, of course, most people know my stories. After 15 years in the financial planning industries, it was my clients who brought me into this amazing e-commerce platform called Win-Jeunesse.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so now, see, all of this, you're making even more sense to me. You're very keen on marketing and the flyers that we make. And so this makes sense. You have an eye for it. That's great. So your parents valued education, and you knew that here in the US, there are so many great universities. And I mean, first of all, kudos to your parents. The fact that you went to USC and then you went and you got your MBA from the Drucker School of Management. I mean, that's amazing, you know? And so obviously you've had some really great role models, and, you know, I know you're a great mother. So that, again,
just to show you how Chinese people, family really value the education. Yeah. My dad once said to me when I was young, he said, hey, Yvonne, if you get accepted to Stanford or Harvard, even I don't have money, I will sell the house to pay for your tuition. Thank goodness I saved the money for my parents. I didn't go to those good schools. So.
Yeah, you only went to USC, right? You know, you didn't go to Stanford, but you went to USC.
Yeah, so. I went to a cheaper school.
Yes, I mean, USC is quite the gem of schools. So that's awesome. I love that. So, okay, so those are your parents. We spoke a little bit about your husband, how he can't multitask, but there are so many other great things about Calvin and your beautiful family, Chloe and Zoe. You guys all live out in California. Tell us about your family. Tell us a little bit about, you know, just how you and Calvin met, and, you know, just maybe some of your family values that you guys stand by.
Well, we were quote unquote college sweethearts. We both attend USC, and Calvin told me that if it's not him, I was still working on my papers on USC on campus. So he said that whatever I have accomplished in life today, he needs to take the credit because he was the one that helped me to write the papers.
Oh, Calvin.
It was a true story. He's from Singapore, so English is his first language, and English is my second language. So when I did the paper, of course, I want someone to proofread and then, you know, do the work for me. And we know each other for 7 years before we got married. And Chloe, Zoe, they were 4 years apart. And I actually started with this Win-Jeunesse Global Careers when Zoe was less than 1 year old.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the girls grew up in the industry. They've seen you build your business from the ground up. I mean, maybe they don't remember, but they've been immersed in it since they can remember. That's amazing.
Yeah, they remember. They remember the time that when I, you know, at night, because of my market or in Asia, I have to stay late and do all that time we didn't have the Zoom meeting back in 2000, 2010, 2011. I think that time was what, Instant Presenter or Skype. So they saw how mama work. So
BlackBerry Messenger.
Yeah.
AOL. AIM. I think we got to bring that BlackBerry Messenger back.
Yeah.
That was quite the introduction to the world we live in today. So that's amazing. So you've got Chloe, Zoe, you know, the girls were born basically in the industry. Calvin, you know, your husband, how do you do it all? I mean, we know you're a great multitasker, but is there any like specific maybe piece of advice or, I don't know, philosophy on that you live by on how you juggle it all, not just the home life, but then the business? Because I can't, you know, one of the things that is so admirable about Yvonne is you're always accessible. You know, you're accessible to your team. You're accessible to us here at corporate. I mean, you're somebody that I know I will always have an answer from within, I mean, a matter of, if not minutes, you know, the next hour or so. How do you do it all? Any piece of advice that we could, you know, take with us today?
Well, I don't know. I just think that to me is I view Win-Jeunesse, I view anything that I get involved as a test, you know, it's a project. And my job is to try my best to get the project done. But it doesn't mean the project will always run smoothly. And I often like to share this story when I first start the business, because it was I would like to share with you, for those of you who think life is a struggle, let me tell you my life, you know, maybe you can find something related to it. Because when I first started with, you know, before Win-Jeunesse, I was a financial advisor. So of course, Calvin he left his job for so many years. I can't remember what did he do. He's a software engineer. Okay. So we are two working parents raising young children. You talk about struggle, it is struggle. Okay. But you just take life one step at a time. We in the morning, we each send the kids to school, to nanny, and then we each take care of ourselves, go to work, and then pick up the kids, send them back, fighting to either buy food to eat or cook, and then at night in the evening, build up your business again. So we just view as this is our job to do. We did not even know it is a good life or it is a bad life. We just think this is our role that we have to play. And I still remember when I first joined Win-Jeunesse Globals, and that time we have to attend the meeting in the evening. And that time I have not retired Calvin yet. Yes, I retired him 7 years ago.
Yeah, let's, I wish we had like a little rewind, when you see in the videos, like they play back that line. Yes, she retired her husband. Yes, Miss Yvonne Yan retired Calvin, the software engineer, which is a big job in and of itself. So I just want to point that out.
Yeah, but 7 years ago, before I retire him, I would like to tell you, he did the telecommute. So 2 days a week, he still have to go to the Valley area, which is far away from where we live. So what I need to do is around 5, 6 o'clock, if I had a meeting in the evening, I have to pick up the kids, send the kids to my mom's house, who lives about maybe 20 minutes away from my house, so that my mom will cook and feed my kids. But I have to give my children a shower because I don't want to wait till late at night where my husband have to pick them up and do all this work. So I have to give my kids a shower, a bath. And then when you shower the kids, yourself get wet, then I have to went back, change, took a shower, and then drive 30 minutes to attend the meetings. And my husband finished work by the time he got home, probably 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Then he had to go to my mom's house to pick up the kids and finish the night. So you talk about, I don't know. Now I look back, I treasure the time that I've been through that process so that I would treasure what I have. And in life, if we want something that is good, you just have to pay the price. And I did pay the price. My husband paid the price and my children paid the price as well. So I don't know. I know we are going anywhere. Does it address your questions?
Oh, it's so good. I mean, first of all, I just want to ask the audience, like, did you pick that up? That was so powerful. It's funny that you said, I don't know that we're going anywhere, because I actually
always look pretty,
You always look pretty. You always look pretty. So it's like you do all of that and look so good. That is a superpower in itself. But I love what you just said. I actually grabbed this so I can write this down, because, it's these simple truths. And you just said, if in life, if you want something good, you have to pay the price. And that's part of what you've done. And, I heard throughout this entire story, you just paid the price. You and Calvin, you paid the price. Yes, it was hard. And sometimes I'm sure in the moment, there were days when it seemed hard. There were days when you probably didn't even notice. It was just life, but you paid the price. You kept your eye on what you wanted to do, and you just kept going. And I think that in itself is really powerful, because there's so many times, Yvonne, where, whether it's in our business or just in life in general, where, it just feels like we're on shaky ground, but we have to just, remember that part of reaping those rewards is paying the price. The other thing I'd love to just kind of share on what you just said, at least how I interpret it, is, it's almost like a project manager. You saw every task, you said it as a project, you were a project manager, and having a routine, having a schedule is so important. You and Calvin partnered up, said, hey, we're going to divide and conquer. You're going to drop the kids off. You're going to pick them up. I'm going to give them showers. Who's going to make food? And it's, I'm sure before you went to sleep at night, you had a plan for the next day. And, I think especially when having kids, or in anything, if you want to do something, the next day, if you want to be productive, you got to have a plan. And so I think that's a big takeaway for our listeners today is, maybe tonight, look at what your schedule looks like for tomorrow. What do you want to achieve, and how have you penciled it in? John C. Maxwell says success is found in your daily agenda. And so I just got so much from it. So sorry if I elaborated a bit much, but I just wanted to make sure that the audience heard what I heard.
Yeah, I think Betty, one thing I also would like to add on to is, if I look back, I didn't have to. If I continue to do my insurance roles, financial advisors, I did not need to go through of having two jobs, daytime and nighttime.
Yeah.
So if I just feel comfortable, I could just do nothing. But if I didn't do anything that putting extra time to pursue my dream or want to have an extra income, I won't have the life I have today. And maybe I already got laid off. I mean, look at the insurance financial industries. The industry has evolving as well. And I do not even think I could travel to so many countries out there and raise my children, take them to see the world. So the lesson I learned is in life, you always need to do the extra in order to get the extra. Love Being it. Comfortable, 9-to-5 job is nothing wrong, but with our 9-to-5 job or the current plans would really set us free and send us to the place that we want to be. So I think now I look back, that jamming time I have when I raise my children and juggle two jobs at the same time, I think that is the best training ground and is the best investment I did it to myself and to my family.
I love it. I love it. And I got to talk to our events team if there's ways that we could like drop some emojis when certain things are said, because this is the time where we would see fire and just so many great things that you said. There's nothing more I have to say. You just said it right there. And it's the bottom line, guys. It's an option, it's a choice, and you got to pay the price, and then you got to put the work. You got to pencil it into your agenda. You got to have routine. Okay, so this is a big moment. You and I were talking about this.
I don't think I cannot hear you, Betty. I think it's frozen.
For guardians that are raising women, that are raising young women. What would you say?
Sorry, Betty. I think I did not hear your voice. Do you mind repeat the question again?
Can you hear me now?
Now it's perfect.
Oh, okay, perfect. I don't know what happened there. I was saying, so you've got Zoe, who's off to Berkeley. She just got,
Chloe's off to Berkeley.
Yes, Chloe, she's off, and that's amazing. Congratulations to you, to Calvin. Then you've got, Zoe, who's super artistic, and she's exploring that further. So you've got two daughters, and, this whole series is about women. So what would you say to parents and or guardians who are raising young women? Is there any specific advice that you would want, that you think is valuable for them to take away tonight?
I never dreamed that people would come to me for parenting advice.
Well, here we are.
Ooh, wow. I think I would say just be the best example. I think children these days, they are so smart and they have so much information from the internet. So it's not about what we say to them, it's what we really behave. So just set up the good examples. I think that is the best education you can give to your children. If you want your children to travel around the world, set the environment. If you want your children to, be the best you can, and you be the best you can as a parent. So I don't know. I'm not the parenting expert. Sometimes I always wonder, those parenting experts, where in the world they have all the time in the world to give advice? Because for the real parent like me, I have no time to give people advice. I will just juggle with cleaning the house, cooking, and sending kids to schools. So I'm just an ordinary parent. So anyway, sorry if I offend any parenting experts.
No, I think, again, I think this is part of what makes you who you are. It's your humility, right? I mean, just in what you said, we got the advice. Be the example, be the best mother you could be, be the role model. And they're, at the end of the day, they're like sponges. Whatever they see, whatever they hear, they're going to enact. And so, just be the best version of you, and, kids will follow suit. So I love that. Now, I'm really excited about this question, Yvonne. So you've accomplished so much in life. Both personally, you have this beautiful family, professionally, we just said it at the beginning of the show. But knowing you, We know there's more. We know there's more in store. So tell us what's next. What's next for Yvonne Yen?
Wow. I think recently, I think before the pandemic, I think let me put it this way, back in 2020, that's where we had the beginning of the pandemic. You know, we couldn't travel, and you know, I got the ADD. I always have to work, so it's kind of a frustration for me to be able to need to stay at home. I mean, I love to stay at home, but when you have to stay at home for too long compared to your busy lifestyle prior, it's a big challenge. So I say to myself, it's time for me to do something. So I revisit the community service work. You know, when I go back to my financial planning time periods, you mentioned earlier, I used to be very active in the community, in the Chamber of Commerce, in the Lions Club, in the Rotaries. But I have to tell you, that time when I got involved, it was with a purpose. It was for business purpose. I need to be out there to network with highly influential clients. But this time, you know, being there, done that, I feel I'm very blessed to get involved, to be part of such a great platform like Win-Jeunesse Globals. It's time for me to give it back. So this time I have been involved in Rotary clubs for the city where I live, and you know, do some service work for the communities. And this time my intention is different. I'm no longer out there for business. I don't need to. I'm very blessed that my business are well established, but I want to be there to be a resource to others, to really be a giver. So if there's another project for me involved from this point forward, will be the community service work. I'm a volunteer, I'm a Girl Scout, and I told my team I'm a Girl Scout too. I will be the most beautiful Girl Scout in the business and the personal life. That the most senior Girl Scout as well.
Well, with that Luminous line, you are going to blend right in with all of those young ladies. But I love that, you know, and I think that for so many people, you know, we always want to give back. And it can be frustrating if there is a moment in time where we feel like we're not. But I think what's important to know is that, you know, it's like they say on the plane. You know, if something happens, you got to put the oxygen mask first on yourself before you can help anybody else. And you've worked so hard, Yvonne, to be in a position where you can give back, where you can really share your wisdom, share your experience as you're doing with us here today. You know, so I think a big, you know, takeaway for everybody listening is, you know, we all have these innate, I think, desires to help the community out. And so the best way to help the community out is to be the best version of yourself for the community so that you can elicit that energy and have so much to share. So I'm so happy that, you know, California gets to benefit from you in that way. And for us here, we have an international platform like here tonight. You know, we've got hundreds of people watching in 3 different languages. And to think, Yvonne, that right now, like there is somebody listening who's hearing you and they're saying, wow, you know, I can do that too. It's time to dust off my power and step into that, which, you know, I think it's beautiful. So thanks for blessing us with that here tonight. Now, okay, here's my next question. I've got a few more questions. And I actually, before I ask my next question though, I do, and this is impromptu. I know you and I talked about it at the beginning of the show, before we turned it on, but we want to give people an opportunity to ask you questions. So as I've got a few more questions, but if they're in, you know, our audience, if you have a question for Yvonne, pop it in the chat here in the next couple of minutes, and then we're going to go through the chat and see which questions that Yvonne will have time to answer. So pop them in now because But here is the question I have for Yvonne. I just know it. I know that there's, you know, some women, if not a woman today, who is watching that. And the reason why I know is because I have felt this at some point. I think women, we always feel this at some point in our lives, you know, but I know that there's someone today that maybe they're feeling a little bit intimidated by someone like you, right? They may feel like, you know what, that's great, but I just don't have I don't have anything like that going for me right now. If you only saw my life, right? Maybe they feel a little broken. Maybe something's happened and they're just not feeling in the greatest space in life. You know, what would you say to them about where they're at, but most importantly, where they can go in spite of the situation environment that they may be in?
Well, that's a beautiful question. I think, Betty, we all have to start from somewhere. That's why I share with you my old story, earning $8 an hour, juggle many tasks. I have to have two jobs and raising the kids at the same time. I think the first step is you have to have the desire. You want to have the desire to make a change. Wherever we are today is only temporary. And I think is that it's a stepping stone for you to move on to the next levels, and how we can really have the change that we want to have. I think the number one step you can do is to hang out with the right people. Come join us. We are the right circle. Look at us. Where in the world you can hang out with beautiful women. You know, if you think you are beautiful, you are beautiful. We talk about health. We talk about having a vehicle to make our own independent income if you want to. We talk about travel. We talk about how to care for each other, how to support each other. So if you have not found a great circle, you got to make sure you come to find a good circle for yourself. That is the key, because that's how you keep yourself in the right pace. And I also learned it from raising my older child, Chloe. It's sometimes, you know, we as a parents, we always want to tell the children what to do, you know, advice 1, 2, 3, 4, but they don't like the advice. The best influence we can have is to put the kids in the right environment. That's why I move. I want the kids to be surrounded by other inspiring children, because their friends, they listen to their friends more. Their friend will have a much stronger impact to your children than people like us. And same thing, go back to Patty's question as well. Hang out with the right woman. They will inspire you. They will help you. So, you know, wherever you are, it's just a temporary, but you got to have a desire. You got to be bold enough. No one else can help you if you don't help yourself. So take the first step to join the right community. If you don't have one, join ours. Reach out to Betty. Betty will send you to one of the teams so you can be part of the groups.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. I love it. You said, number 1, have desire. 2, surround yourself with the right people. 3, be in that right environment. And I love that last part that you said, be bold. You know, you got to take the first step. You got to take the first step in every single one of these elements, and being in those right environments, like here at Win-Jeunesse. I mean, it's amazing. I absolutely love that. Oh, and I love what you said. Everybody starts somewhere. I mean, that's so big, you know, wherever you're at, my friend watching right now, just know you got to start somewhere. And where you're at right now is the base of the story that will be so inspiring for women and men alike. So, I love that. Okay. Here's my next question. Okay. So we've talked about a lot of things, but one thing that we've yet to talk about is some of the challenges you've overcome, specifically as a woman in business, because like we said at the beginning of the show, it is different, and it is harder. And I think it's okay to just be aware of it, accept it, but we can overcome. So what are some challenges you faced, and how did you overcome?
You know, I think that's, out of all the questions, Betty, I think I love this question the most, because we all have choices. And if you just take me as an example, do I juggle when I used to be the corporate employee? Yes, I did juggle. Do I juggle when I used to be a financial advisor? Yeah, I juggle. We always juggle business, family, and personals. But now, do I also juggle? Yes, I juggle between family, business, and my current job as an entrepreneur. But when you have, since we all juggle, but when you have a much better job, trust me, you will juggle with enjoyment. That's what I do today. Because now with my career with Win-Jeunesse Global, by the way, I'm not selling you a career as a Win-Jeunesse Global. If you can have your own business that can send you to travel, you can build the business on the e-commerce model without paying the rent, without having the employees, and with a great support groups. And also the product the business is doing is to help you to become healthier and beautiful. Where in the world you can handle that? So now look at me. Now I'm talking to you from the comfort of my own home instead of in the office. Do I have a boss? No, I'm my own boss. That's why I love my job. So we all juggle. Everyone all juggle. the thing is, you can change your family, you can change your spouse, you can change your children, but what you can change is your business environment. If you have your own career, you are going to have autonomies and be in controls and also leverage the global e-commerce trends. So do I still juggle? Yes, but now with much easier because I have Win-Jeunesse Global.
That's great. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Yvonne. Okay. Here is the last question I personally have for you before we look at some of what the audience has asked. Although I'm looking a little bit at what the audience has asked, and I think that this question will encapsulate a lot of what they are asking. But to bring it home, right, to talk specifically about women here in Win-Jeunesse, which, by the way, I just want to quickly say that it's amazing to see how many women are in Win-Jeunesse, both out in the field as well as internally in corporate. Like if you guys came to our offices, you would see that there are so many women at the director levels and higher and just everywhere. I mean, I think that's it's
men can handle the pressure, you know, hire more women. Yeah,
hire more women. That's right. That's right. It's statistically shown that companies that have more women, especially women that can make decisions, are 30% more successful, just generally speaking. So that's kind of cool. But to bring it home, you know, what would you say specifically to the women in Win-Jeunesse right now in the climate that we're in? You know, it is a different world. We are coming out of this pandemic. You know, the world has changed. You know, how can they build a business in this new world, just like as you have?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. If you log into today's webinars, I think you are the lucky star, because what Win-Jeunesse Global provide us is a vehicle for us to pursue our dreams at our own pace. But even though it's a vehicle, again, you do have to invest your time and efforts because nothing is free. Sometimes, you know, I often say about our industries, the good news is, it's so wide. There's no qualification. Anyone can join. The door is wide open. You don't need a license. You don't need the education. The door is wide open. If you say yes, you can be part of this industries. But the bad news is because there's no qualifications, some people do not take this business seriously. This is a legitimate big business if you want it to be. Just because you have a cup of coffee doesn't mean it's not a big business. You know, I came from the corporate world. I used to work in a fancy big office in downtown Los Angeles. When I walk during the lunch break, I feel, wow, I have win because I'm a big executive. But time has changed. You know, those are the format of the old business. But in today's days, when we build the e-commerce, any coffee shop in the world is an office. And I don't need staff, but if I go to my back office, I can see all the transactions, all the business, all the sales value flowing in from everywhere around the world. Time has changed. So today, what you are facing today is a different, totally new business models. And you just need to believe in it. If you never have any experience, take our words. I did this business for the last 12 years. And I see so many great stories coming up from building these platforms. So for those of you who are watching the shows, now we are entering into the second half of 2022. Yeah. This is a great platform. And all you need to do is ask yourself, do you want to have a better life? Do you really want to do something for yourself and for your family? If you do, I'm sure talk to a mentor, set the goal for it. Don't look at left, don't look at right. You know, don't talk about all those that's not relevant to your production. Stick to your goals because this is the best gift that you can give to yourself and to your family. Where in the world you can start a business with just a few $1,000s, and not to talk about the product that you would receive in returns. And there are people who will guide you, the company will support you, the team will support you, and you're in a positive environment. You tell me where in the world you can find a better job than this.
That's right. That's right.
You are your own architect. Yeah.
Yes, Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Yvonne, for all of that. And I think so I'm going to read you some of these questions and I think you answered a lot of it. Let me know if there's anything you want to add, but somebody asked, how many years have you been here at Jeunesse? You just said 12 years. And I did like, by the way, that somebody asked that question, because it could be intimidating to see, wow, look at everything she's done. Did she do this in 5 years and 1 year? Obviously there's new people here in our series, but it's taken time. You've put in the time, you've paid the price. Is there anything that you want to elaborate on the time that you spent here on Jeunesse?
No, I think I start with just like any other distributor, left zero, right zero. I have a zero prior experience with network marketing. The term I say to myself is, I'm a virgin, okay, in this industries. I never done this business before. So,
by the way, I have to tell everybody, she wants that Madonna song right now,
like a virgin.
Yes. She wants it. See, she wants it. I knew it. Okay, sorry, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah. So I'm sure, if someone like me with zero prior experience can do this, you have a zero excuse not to try it. And I can remember, I think it took me 3 years. It took me 2 to 3 years to become a diamond. But the key is, and there are some people get to diamond sooner than me, and there are some people get to diamond longer than me. It doesn't matter. The key is, if you really want to, you put in the effort and stay focused. There is a way. I think in today's days, if anyone who is not satisfied with the progress that you have with whatever you are involving, ask yourself, did you truly put in the effort? Did you truly give the best you can be? Because this is a perfect timing. Go back to Patty's question earlier. There's no other timing than today to build your own business with Jeunesse Global. People want a great product. People want to be younger. People want to travel for free. People want to explore. Life has, today, we just want to live the life, but don't wait till you retire to live the life, because we don't know if, knock on wood, there's another pandemic. But we want to live the life now. Whatever you want to experience when you retire, don't wait till you retire. Experience it now. You can travel 2 times a year on Jeunesse Tap now. You can help others, support each others by working with your team now. Don't wait till you retire. You can do charity work. You can lend a hand to others, be a resource to others now, instead of wait till you retire. You can do all those now. That's it.
Wow, that was so good. I was about to ask you, but I think you just did it, but feel free to elaborate. I was going to say, I want you to have the final words here, final thoughts, anything you want to share that is in your heart tonight for our viewers.
Well, Betty, I remember we just came from Costa Rica, the incentive trips, and it's very kind of the corporate office to arrange the zip line. And I did the zip line before, but when you are in the different position, what's going on in your mind could be different. So this time when I went through the zip line, what I did is, was I scared a little bit? Yes. Was I nervous? Yes. But I went for it. And in the middle of nowhere, when you are the only focus with the nature, you can call your friends. There's no noise, just between you and yourself in the nature. So in that valley, I scream, but I scream for joy because I feel, you know what? This is the life I want to have. I want to be free. I want to have a free life to do whatever I want to, and I'm living it. So my advice to all the friends who are watching, live the life you truly deserve a life that you want to have. But all you need to do is set your mind, program here, and then go for it. Put on all the gear. You are well protected. It's nothing to be afraid, and zip your life all the way. Zip line.
And scream for joy and just let it out. I love it. I love it. You know, what's funny, Yvonne, is I did the same thing. I don't know what it was. It was raining. The rain was on my face and I was just looking out at all our wonderful, you know, Jeunesse family. And it was one of those moments where you're just like, oh my gosh, you know, it's all been worth it. The dots have connected. It's all led, you know, to be here. And yes, it was beautiful and it was freeing, but to be, like you said, in this community with the right people, that's priceless. You know, it's absolutely priceless. So I love that. I love that. Well, Yvonne, I can't thank you enough. You gave us an hour of your time tonight. You gave us so much wisdom. So I agree with your college roommate. You're definitely the person to call for advice. But you also really gave us your heart tonight. And I feel like I thought I knew you and I just got to know you that much more. Do you guys feel the same way? Can we show Yvonne in the chat some love? I mean, gosh, it was so good. So thank you, Yvonne. We look forward to having you on more of our Power Hour series inspired by you. And Zoe and Chloe. So best of luck. And we're so excited to see you continue on your journey of greatness. So thanks, Yvonne.
Thank you. And to all the women out there, you deserve a good life. Go for it. Zip line your life. So thank you for having me, Betty.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you. And yes, you deserve the life that you want. It's time to design your life. You know, and if you're part of Jeunesse, you are doing it already. If you're not a part of Jeunesse, latch on to us. There is so much room here and we want to lock arms with you. We want to not just be there for you physically. We want to be there for you emotionally. We're sisters, you know, it's all of us doing this together. And so we have this series once a month. Our next one is going to be, mark your calendars, July 7th, 7/7/22. It's actually one of my favorite days in the world because that's the day I actually signed up in network marketing. And it just happened to be that Thursday in the month that we do it. So July 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time will be our next series. And we want to hear from you. Please find me on Facebook. My name is Betty Perez. Find me on Instagram, Miss Betty Perez. Email us at the North America inbox. We want to hear from you. What do you want to hear? What more do you want to hear? Of course, we have phenomenal leaders, you know, but if there's any specific topics you want us to cover, you know, let us know. We're here to serve you. And remember, this is a series that was created for women by women. So we want you to be a part of this series as well. If somebody from our team can type in the North America email in the chat, that would be great. And again, you can email us there or you can find me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm happy to talk and hear your suggestions. So with that said, my ladies, let's go run our day tomorrow. Let's run the week. Let's run the rest of the month. And let's just make it happen. You have the power in you. Just dust it off, take it off the shelf tonight, step into it and go zip line and scream for joy because you're part of this amazing community and you've got breath in your lungs and you're a beautiful, beautiful, powerful woman. So God bless you guys. Good night. And we'll see you next time. Bye.